Hello and welcome back to Havoc, and, well, in the previous episode, we actually declared war against a mighty opponent, someone that has over double our combat strength. This fellow, however, is not a part of that faction. This guy is someone that we attempted to persuade in a previous episode and failed, well, not miserably, but pretty harshly. Anyway, as you can see here, for some reason, he already has 2 out of the 3 points needed to be able to persuade him. I'm actually wondering whether the developers have changed the way the persuasion system works. So, for example, if you fail to persuade a vassal to do whatever it is you want them to do, then maybe the persuasion attempt remains at the particular progress point that you left off. Now, obviously, this could be due to a mod as well, so I'm not entirely sure if it's part of the base game or whether it's due to something like Allegiance Overhaul, for example. It might be due to that, because that's a new mod to my mod list. Not usually using that, so it could be that. But otherwise, we have 100% chance to get right on through to the barter screen. So I thought, let's start the episode here. Sounds like a pretty good idea to me. Anyway, there we go. Okay, so he has... he has 0. Yeah. What? He wants 417,000? Wow. Okay. I guess I'll say yeah, right? I mean, what else is... what else can I really do? Because I don't have everything as a price. I don't have basically any bargaining power whatsoever, with the exception of my cash. Can you imagine if I didn't have this much money? Yeah, that would be uncomfortable. Anyway, there you go. He's gonna have more money than I do now. Okay, well, there you go. There we are. He's now joined us. That is actually hilarious in my opinion. I suppose he's going to be kind of useful now that I've given him 417,000. Can he actually be useful? Cross fingers, please. Because if he's not, I have no idea, really. I have no idea what I'm going to do, to be honest, because then it's basically just going to be me against this very, very powerful faction. And while we have been able to achieve victory against them in the past, that was very, very due to the fact that we were, well, playing very defensively. And, well, we had the, shall we say, the home court advantage, if you believe in those things. Anyway, oh, hello there. Tulag is very close. Okay, hello there, sir. I think we're going to fight him, aren't we? We have to fight him. I mean, he has some terrible units, actually. Yes. Let us attack him. This is the perfect opportunity. Okay, so let me see what I can do here. I'm just going to go over to my skills real quick, just to make sure that I'm not missing out on anything. As you can see, we do have Way of the Saddle. What is this? Way of the Saddle. Okay, wait a minute. Is this different to what it was before? Because for me, I don't know. Is my memory failing me? It could be. Let's face it, you know, it could be. But I don't remember it actually giving us only charge damage and maneuver. I personally feel like that is almost negligible for the most part. I really don't see the point in having charge damage or maneuver. But I don't know, maybe the charge damage is actually going to be kind of useful now, instead of it just being a very minor byproducts of walking through someone with a horse. I don't know. Maybe it is actually going to make a pretty big difference. But for me personally, I would like to see this actually incorporate speed, so that it increases your horse's speed by 1 for each 10 riding skill above 200. I think speed is basically the name of the game here. Maneuver, of course, is very, very useful. But for me specifically, I would love to see that skill have speed attached to it as well. But obviously maybe that makes it too powerful, maybe, I don't know. I mean, it is one of the final perks, so you kind of expect it to be quite strong, wouldn't you? Anyway, we're going to go for an auto-delegate straight away here, just so that we can kind of ascertain what the best course of action is. I used to do auto-delegate a huge amount with my Khuzait Khanate series, and it always seemed to do quite nicely. But of course then I found out that doing the charge order also has a similar effect, and so I decided to just do the charge order instead, because some of the time the auto delegation is a bit weird. Sometimes they do some strange stuff, but hopefully that's not going to be the case here, and I will be able to utilize my polearm a little bit as well. I very much enjoy using my polearm, as I said before in a previous episode. I'd love to be able to utilize it a little bit more. I am actually riding very fast, so it could be that that final skill doesn't even need to provide speed at this point, because we are indeed running and indeed riding so fast that I don't know whether it makes any sense to give me more speed, because then maybe it's just going to be too fast, you know what I mean? There must be a reason why it's not giving me speed, you know? Because there are no other ways of gaining maneuver, obviously, apart from increasing your riding skill in total, but speed seems pretty good as it is, you know? I don't know. Maybe there's another way to go about it, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm basically just talking about ideas that I have in my own head, and if they're implemented or not, well, it doesn't really matter, obviously, but, you know, it's just a way for me to say, oh yes, I think I'd prefer this or one way or another. And maybe you would as well, who knows? Maybe you'd prefer speed instead of charge damage, for example. But one thing that if they don't want to incorporate speed into the skill, then I would very much appreciate doubling the amount of charge damage that you get. Because if you take a look here, look at how much charge damage I'm dealing to these enemies right now. 4 or 5 damage while riding at a pretty brisk pace. There's 3 damage. I actually took him down with the 3 damage that I did with my charge damage. That's actually hilarious. But yes, most of the time your charge damage is going to be extremely low. And I mean, obviously we're not traveling the farthest, well, shall we say the fastest that we could possibly, but I don't know. I think maybe having 2 charge damage for every 10 riding skill points above 200, that could be a nice change to make it so that charge damage actually does something. Because as it stands right now, while you could potentially, and this is obviously considering there are no polearm users, let's say that there's no polearm users in a particular infantry line, and you could potentially charge straight on into an infantry line and do significant damage to a whole bunch of units, but obviously maybe that's too strong, you know? Maybe it's too strong to see that. I don't know. But I'm just, as I say, I'm just throwing around ideas here, and it's not necessary by any means. Anyway, there we go. This guy has been eliminated. We did plunder 10,000 gold from him. I actually remember in Bannerlord when you defeated a vassal in a very early version of the game when it was first released into early access. I remember that whenever you defeated a vassal, you would get, well, it wouldn't be capped, basically. The amount of gold that you could plunder from them would not be capped, and you could basically get, I think it's either a percentage of their money, or you'd get a lot of their money just straight off right there. And in my opinion, I felt like that actually made more sense than capping it at 10,000, but I can only assume that the cap is for a, shall we say, an interim solution rather than a final resolution for the whole problem. Because obviously, if this remains the way it is at the moment, I don't know whether I agree with it, to be honest, because while you could make a lot of money just by capturing one vassal, which, yes, indeed, you probably could. For example, if I had just defeated Tulag there on the previous version, I probably would have gained, I don't know, 60,000 or 70,000. Yes, that is a lot, of course, but in the grand scheme of things, isn't that how it would be for me as well? For example, if I were to be captured or something, they would steal all my stuff. They would take all my loot. They would take a lot of my money. They wouldn't obviously take all my money, but they would take quite a bit. And then you would obviously have to, you'd have to ransom yourself and so on and so forth. But I don't know. This is, again, just ideas that I'm floating around here. But anyway, there we go. I don't think I picked anything up. Let me actually just reset that real fast just to make sure that I'm not missing out on upgrading our companions. Okay, yeah, that doesn't seem to be the case. Okay, so someone actually mentioned something very useful, which I have thought about in the past, or in the near, should we say near past, and the one thing that I have to say to it is, let me just say what they actually said. They said, make a party from your wife. So in other words, make a party with your wife and have your wife, you know, take control of a bunch of units, give her some units, and then have her roam around with you or join you in an army. And that actually makes a great deal of sense. I agree with you. I concur. I say that that's an absolutely fantastic idea. However, the problem with that is that she's currently pregnant at the moment, and I'm not entirely sure what happens to the child if we split up right now and we are in different parties. I don't know what happens. Did she actually already give birth, by the way? Oh, she already did. Never mind. Okay, she already did. So yeah, we can actually do something like that. Okay. Oh, look at me, look at me. Ah, yes. Not even paying attention to when our child was born. Oh yes, I'm an absolutely wonderful, wonderful person. Okay, so yes. Anyway, let's create a new party. Bear in mind, however, that she is our quartermaster at the moment. So if I do swap her out from this role, she is not going to provide me with 34 party size, and instead I'm going to have 22. So I lose a little bit of party size, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm not sure whether it really makes that much difference. So we're just going to make myself, I'm actually just going to go back to default. And Villatrude actually is the scout. I'm not entirely sure why she wasn't assigned as the scout. That makes no sense to me, but there you go. Okay, and we're going to create a new party. So bear in mind, Zoana does not actually have very good combat skills, so it might be a little bit problematic for her, but I'm going to give her some really good units. I'm going to give her some super good units. Okay, so I'm going to give her my noble troop line. All of my noble troops, in actual fact. All of my noble troops. And then we will give her a bunch of warlords of Kurt as well. And I think that's actually it. That's possibly the most powerful army that is in the game at the moment, with the exception of obviously the ones that have massive amounts of units, you know, because you know, unit quantity certainly isn't the strong point of Zoana's army at the moment. Anyway, there we go. Okay, so she's now going to be a party, and thanks to being the leader of our very own faction, I can now call for her to join me for free, and we can actually gain some leadership as a result of this too, so that's super nice. Anyway, let's now move around here and try to recruit as many units as I can get my hands on, because I'm going to need them. And actually, speaking of that, what kind of units are in our garrison? We have Kurtgits units. Oh, we do actually have some Storm Raiders of Kurt right there. And Warlords of Kurt, in actual fact. Okay, that's interesting. That actually makes me a little bit question whether the other garrisons in the area also have some units of Kurt, potentially. No, they do not, unfortunately. There are a massive amount of Kurtgits noble sons, though. Look at those guys. That's pretty crazy. Okay, yeah, so it doesn't seem like that is the case, but I am going to check all of the garrisons just in case. I'm not leveling up my leadership skill, though. Why is my leadership skill not leveling up? It's probably because I don't have any focus points in it. Am I right? Probably. Right? I mean, I assume that that's the case. Yeah, I have literally nothing in it, so that's the reason why it's taking so long. Okay, well, let's see. Doubles the amount of betting you can use in tournaments. This is actually something really nice to take early on. And if you're looking to make massive amounts of money from the early game, where you have pretty much no army whatsoever, you have very little combat skills yourself, but you have faith in your own ability to win tournaments, but not actual field battles or anything, then you can try to either raid a couple of villages or basically just take people prisoner and sell them as soon as possible to try and get roguery to 50. Because doubling the amount of betting is insane. It's really good to be able to get that. Even in the base game, I can imagine it's going to be very useful. And obviously, because I have Chaos's tweaks, I can determine how much I'm betting. And usually I bet, what is it, 500, I think? I bet 500 per round, but I think by default it's 150. Isn't it 150 by default? I'm not entirely sure. It's been a while since I've played on the base game without Chaos's tweaks installed, so do forgive me for not remembering that. But anyway, we are now going to be moving on very, very soon. I keep switching the recruitment type for some reason. Not sure why I'm doing that, but yeah, there you go. That happens. And let's move into the garrison here, and there are no Kurt units, which is, I suppose, to be expected, I guess. Anyway, let's just recruit some of these more noble units, in actual fact. And I think, wow, there's actually a pretty, I think they seem to be running around with some pretty decent troops now. So it must be that the money that I've given that fellow, Illatar, is being put to good use, or at least I hope it is being put to good use, because there's really not much more I can do to help them, to be honest. I mean, I can basically just continue to donate money to them, but I would prefer if that would not be the case. So actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give him a fief, okay? We're going to give him a fief. I don't know which fief to really give him. I'm thinking Kaysar Castle at the moment. I'm thinking something like that. Can I actually do it without actually having influence? Okay, wait a minute. Kaysar Castle. I mean, I could do Kaldovich Castle because it doesn't have very much prosperity, but I think that's a little bit measly for me to do that. I feel like that is a little bit too, you know, I'm not that grabby for prosperous fiefs. I don't really care if a fief has 1 prosperity or 10,000 at this point. I basically just want them to have a place where they can take out units and maybe have something that can pay them a small amount of wages, you know what I mean? So I think Kaysar Castle is going to actually deal with that quite nicely. So that's exactly what we're going to do. There we go. And we've gained a level. Okay, we actually gained a level from that, which is fantastic, because that means I'm actually going to be able to spend it into leadership. And I'm also going to be, I'm still wondering about what I should do about endurance or control. Should I do anything like that? Should I do any intelligence? Maybe intelligence would be kind of useful as well. Social skill, though, is lagging behind a little bit. I mean, cunning, of course, I'm going to basically leave alone because none of these skills are something I'm going to be putting focus points in. Not for a while, at least. If I can max out the various other skills that I've been focusing on, then obviously I'll try to level up, you know, tactics, roguery, not scouting, but I'll try to level up those two if I have the spare points. But most of the time, I don't think that's going to happen. Oh, Tulag is running around with some really, really weakened army strength. Oh, now this is gonna be really bad for him. Oh yeah, this is gonna be super, super bad. I'm surprised that he actually went in against us, to be honest. I don't know why he did that, but okay. We're gonna go in for a nighttime battle here. I love nighttime battles thanks to the fire arrow mod, but I know that some people can't really see too well. Hopefully, because we're fighting in a bit more of a desert area, it's gonna be a little bit lighter, because I know that if it's a darkened ground, it's a bit difficult to see, but hopefully because it's a bit more of a lighter texture, it might be easier. Anyway, let's see if I can get some long-range hits with my bow here. I'm gonna really love seeing, oh, look at how cool that is. I love the cinematic nature of the fire arrow mod. It's so, so nice. Did I hit someone? Oh, I didn't hit anyone, really? Actually, oh, we did hit someone. Now, that was a lovely headshot. Nice. Can I get some more of those, please? Yes, there's one. Thank you. Oh, I should really tell my guys to just auto-delegate and go straight on in there, because I am getting carried away. Yes, I'm getting carried away. You know, that's how you actually know that I enjoy a character build a huge amount, if I go quiet and I'm just having fun, just doing the stuff, you know, doing the damage that we need to do to achieve whatever it is we're trying to do here, which is usually a victory. Yes, usually a victory. That's the way to go, you know. That's the way to go. Generally, you know, you don't really want to go into a fight thinking, oh yes, I'm going to aim to achieve defeat. Yes, indeed. Indeed. But yeah, these units really don't have very much to really threaten us with either, so it's kind of a bit more of a relaxed situation, because obviously we've already defeated Tulag himself once before, and he had a much stronger army beforehand, so yeah, he's in a really, really bad position, and I kind of feel, you know, do I feel sorry for him? No, actually not. Actually not, because he did attempt to attack us with a very strong army beforehand at Baltakand, and, well, let's just say that we fought him off. We fought him off very valorously indeed, and I think, in general, he would not have had any mercy whatsoever if he had been able to achieve victory there. So I'm, you know, I'm kind of taking it to him right now. I'm taking the fight to him, and, well, I actually haven't seen any of his vassals, which kind of makes me a little bit, well, a little bit dubious, a little bit confused, because on the one hand, I'm thinking, yeah, it's probably about time that someone comes out of the woodwork to assist him, or to help him out, because you can see here, I literally just, I lost zero. I lost 0 units here, just purely for the fact that horse archers, when they are in such great numbers like we have right now, they can be extremely difficult to deal with. And you can see here as well that we're going to get some more relation with this guy and his clan, which is, well, it's not really my aim. It's not really my goal, you see. Because my goal is actually to increase my relation with the other clan within Tulag's faction. But I haven't found or seen any of those vassals in quite some time. So I'm actually wondering where they have gone. Because as we saw in the previous episode, Sukhothai was running around in, well, the nearby areas, attempting to recruit people from the various villages in the area, and yeah, she is now no longer anywhere to be seen, which is kind of strange. But I am seeing Tulag going out and recruiting units all by his lonesome, and while that does, I mean, to be fair, if we think of him as merely a line of code, or many, in fact, many lines of code in a game, then we don't feel too, you know, too bad about it. But if we think of him as a fellow that's out there on the plains of the Khuzait Khanate territory and is attempting to resurrect his faction from a rather bitter defeat, because obviously we did defeat him against the odds, and, well, if we think of him like that, it's kind of sad. But I don't see any, I mean, look, he's he's literally just continuing to come out of the garrison, and he already has 50 units. It's pretty crazy, and I mean, if I continue to go up against him right here, I mean, what am I supposed to do? Because I can't just let him go, can I? I mean, well, that's actually funny, because Zoana has just taken him prisoner. So what I'm actually going to do is I am going to transfer him over. Why does why does she want these things? Oh, that is hilarious. Can I not transfer money? I can't transfer money. That is hilarious. Okay, I actually have no idea. Why is she asking for all this stuff? Okay, she wanted horses. Or not? Because, wait a minute. Yeah, she wanted horses. Oh, she wanted wait a minute, steppe horses. Or the war horses? No. She wanted steppe horses. Okay, so let me actually just transfer a bunch of horses to her. Apparently she wants horses for some reason. Maybe it's just the horses being quite, I don't know, quite valuable or something like that. But yeah, we're just going to transfer a bunch of these over to her. And we're going to get Tulag, because we need him. I'm still surprised that she didn't just give him over for free, because generally we're part of the same faction. So I don't know what's going on with that. But I do want to let him go. So can I speak to him and let him go? And he says, no. He says, no, we're not allowed to do that. Okay, so we didn't get any relation whatsoever, and I just lost a bunch of horses. Well, there you go. That happens, I guess. That happens. Ah, there he is. There's Kanujan's army. Okay, fantastic. So I was wondering where they are, and we've now taken Tulag prisoner, which, of course, is not exactly what we wanted, but, you know, that's just how it is. Anyway, I'm going to be taking Stout Defender, I think, because I would love to increase the rate of... Actually, I don't care about that. No. I really don't care about that at all, so I'm actually going to go for 4 morale at the beginning of the battle when attacking, because I'm mostly going to be attacking, I suppose. I mean, I have some pretty high morale as it is, so I'm not sure whether it really makes much difference, but it's always nice to have more morale, I guess. I mean, why not? And these fellows are actually coming to attack Caesar Castle, I believe. I would like to be able to eliminate this guy, mainly because he's the fellow that we want to get, you know? He's the fellow that we want to make sure has decent relation with us. And let's see if we can do that. Oh, he's actually going to besiege Balticant. Oh, well, there you go. That is apparently happening. This is actually a really bad idea for him, by the way. I don't know whether you've noticed why, but it's really, really bad for him, because we have 440 defenders in the garrison here, and while they might be low-tier units, they are easily going to be able to diminish his ranks enough for us to be able to go in straight away upon him being weakened, and then we can just have a whale of a time and win on the fields of battle. At least that's what I'm hoping for. So let me actually just spend a couple of things here. Aha, yep, this is perfect. Discarded armor can be donated to troops for increased experience. That is always the perk I will be taking. It's just so incredibly flexible and can very easily allow you to level up your forces just from having a surefire defeat as well. So if you have enough money, technically what you can do is you can go and buy some really, really cheap armor, and then you can just level up your troops that way. Or you can just fight some bandits, fight some, you know, weaker vassals, and then just donate all of the proceeds, all of the loot from that, and there you have it. It's going to be very, very nice and easy. Anyway, aha! They actually want peace with us. Look at that. They actually want peace with us. They are offering us 780 gold daily. Your vassals have left the decision with you. Oh, we're going to say no to that, of course. Let's take a look at this guy. Yeah, we're going to go in. We're going to go in straight away. I'm actually going to free Tulag for 17,000. I don't see a reason to keep him. And here we go. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Now, this is actually kind of even, as you can see. This is pretty even. Look at that. We're basically almost exactly the same in terms of numbers, and our combat strength is relatively similar too. So this is going to be a pretty interesting fight. However, I would wholeheartedly assume that this is probably going to be a perfectly fine and reasonable fight. I don't think we're really going to have any issues whatsoever, and hopefully I will be able to... well, I mean, literally. I say hopefully, but I mean, if you take a look at how many horse archers I have on the battlefield at the moment, we have 220 almost. Yeah, 220. Let's do an auto-delegation, I suppose. I mean, there's nothing much more for me to do, really. And we'll see what happens. I mean, I have taken a look at the army's composition, the enemy army's composition, that is. And, well, they have... well, not much, basically. They have not much. They have a lot of regular tribal warriors, as you can see right here. They're basically attacking us with tier 2, tier 3 horse archers, which of course are not going to be enough to defeat us, but they may have enough of them to be able to deal some pretty significant damage. And that obviously does impact us quite a bit, because if they are able to eliminate enough of us, then their other units might be able to take a few of us out, which would not be too good, because if there's another army running around, which I doubt, but if there is another army running around, then we're going to be in some trouble, possibly. This is a very big if, but still, you know, could happen. And it seems like that is all she wrote. Oh yeah, we've got them on the run now by the looks of things, and we can now finish up the battle with a wonderful victory. I'm just going to wait here while my forces deal with the rest. Seems like the enemy vessels are actually putting up a pretty significant fight, and there you have it. Alright, so now here's the big cross your fingers moment. I'm very much hoping that most of our forces will not take these guys prisoner. It seems like one of them has been, but he is from a different clan, though, you know, so we don't really care about them too much. This guy, however, no, okay, we're going to be letting these guys go generally because I just want relation all across the board, but we wanted as many vassals from Kurtgits as much as we could, because if we can get as many of those guys, then it's just going to be super nice and easy for us to try and persuade him to, well, persuade all of them to join us. And as you can tell, they have the ability to field a rather large army. So yeah, maybe we're going to be able to speak to him in just a second. I do have a number of prisoners, so what I'll do is I will ransom all of them. There we are. There's a companion here as well, but I don't really think she's going to be too much help, unfortunately. She's not the right culture, and also, I mean, she does have some really good traits, but that's pretty much it, unfortunately. She's not really going to help us out with any other kind of skill. And let's see if we gained any upgrades. No, there's just 2 of us now, isn't there? Yes, there's just 2 of us, so just going to be selling all of this for another 25,000. We have 404,000, still vastly less than what I would like, but we'll try our very best. Okay, so here we go. I have decent loyalty, do we? No, not really. My loyalty is actually terrible, mostly because we're starving. Yeah, this is, that is pretty bad. I need to get orchards up and running, but this is problematic because orchard is going to take a long time to be built. I'm not sure what I can really do about that, to be honest. I mean, we can try it. I mean, you can see here, it's going to take 18 days. And then we're going to be losing 1 loyalty every single day. Okay, so let's just do that. I have enough, technically I have enough influence now to be able to take one of these. So forgiveness of debts, I could push this through straight away, right? Yep. There we go. Fantastic. Okay, that's really good. So that basically nullifies all of the problems that we're having with loyalty at the moment. I would like to be able to get another thing that actually does increase loyalty once again, but I have to be careful about what I take. For example, what about this one? This is pretty good. Town taxes paid to the ruler are reduced by 5%. I don't really care about the town taxes, to be honest, at the moment. We're such a small faction. Doesn't really make that much difference. But town loyalty increasing by 1 per day. Yep, I'll take that. Thank you very much. That's going to be pretty useful. And that's going to make it pretty much nigh impossible for any of our towns to rebel against us. And obviously that was my main concern for the most part. So now that those things are working, let me actually just take a quick look here. Yep, so as you can see, we are now gaining 1 influence, actually not 1 influence, 1 loyalty every single day. And I don't need to worry about it in the least. I can basically just allow my forces to start building the orchards, and that's going to be really useful for us. I think I'm actually going to build a granary after that so that the production is not wasted. So that's exactly what we're going to do. And in the meantime, oh, hello there, Sokotai. You have come out of hiding. Yes, very good. Okay, I will be... there's a civil war apparently going on. Okay, yeah. But anyway, we're going to try and get her into a battle. Yes, we did. Okay, this is a bit problematic now, though, because if it... Oh... Okay, yeah, that's indeed, as I said, that is very problematic. I wanted to release her, but obviously because Zoana is in my army, she actually took her prisoner, which is not exactly what I wanted. And I am going to have to give her a massive amount of stuff again to be able to transfer the prisoner. And even if I did do that, it wouldn't make any difference at all because, well, I mean, it's just not going to make any difference. Okay, so unfortunately, we, there we go. Freed because of a peace declaration? We didn't make peace. What? has been freed because of a peace declaration. No, I don't believe it was a peace declaration. It's more like she was sold to the slave trader or something like that. But yeah, okay, well, whatever the case, we have another possible person that we can attack here, but she is a part of the other clan, which is, well, it basically does not matter what happens. So I'm just going to go for a nice little auto-resolve here. Let her go. Of course, we have the... of course, we are the ones now that get the opportunity to take our prisoner. Isn't that always the way things go? Yes, it is. Okay, so, Kanojan, let us speak to you. Let us speak to you, sir. Okay, let me see whether he is actually even wanting to speak to us. Because here's the thing. If he actually joins us, I don't even need to take Kimley Castle from him. Really? He's still happy with Tulag. This is super weird to me, because here's the thing. If you take a look, he has 8, and I say 8, relation with Tulag. And we have 31 with Kanojan. I actually don't know. I actually don't know why he's like that. Maybe I do need to take Kimley Castle from him or something along those lines. But anyway, I think that's going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.